Hi, welcome to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and today I am filming the time and place tag. The time and place tag was created by Carl at Please Read Your Book. I was tagged by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, and I was tagged a few weeks ago, so I'm a little late to getting this tag done, but better late than never. Question number one. A book that reminds you of your past. Okay, that was an easy one. This book. 65 years of illustrations from Beverly Cleary's beloved books, The Art of Ramona Quimby. I received this book for Christmas from my brother a few years ago. I think when it came out in the last 2 to 3 years. Trying to look for the publication date. 2020. So this book came out and I put it on my Christmas wish list, and my brother gave it to me for Christmas probably in 2020, maybe 2021. And I was so ecstatic to receive this book. This book reminds me of my childhood because when I was a child, like a school age child living in the United States, I would check out books from not the local, but sometimes the local, but mostly my school library. So my family and I immigrated to the United States when I was a child. After I learned to speak English, after I learned to really handle the English language a bit, I was able to read fully in English. The process of doing that, it took maybe about a year or so, a couple of years. The first few years of learning the language, I was doing a lot of audiobooks accompanying my reading. But maybe when I was in third, fourth, and fifth grade, by then I was in the advanced readers groups in school, and I was reading Beverly Cleary. So I have this vivid memory of checking out Beverly Cleary books from the library and taking them with me on the weekends. So my mom worked several jobs. As a single parent, she had to work several jobs to get by. And she was a cleaner in her spare time. So on the weekends, we would go help my mom clean, sometimes apartments, mostly or houses, but mostly most of the time it was her steady job was businesses, like a business. So we would go with her on the weekend, and I would take my library book with me, just to read once I finished my chores with the cleaning. So I remember I feel like most of the time I had a Beverly Cleary book with me. And that was kind of my motivation to finish quickly, because I knew that if I finished my tasks at cleaning, I was going to be able to sit and read for just a little while my mom finished up her work. So it was motivation, to just have a little bit of time to read. I have this vivid memory of walking into this place of business where we were going to be cleaning with my book. There are two books that I remember very vividly having with me. That was Ramona Quimby, age 8. And then there was this one time when I had The Mouse and the Motorcycle with me, and I remember it so vividly. I can attach memories of being at this place of work cleaning, with like having these books to hold, before and after I finish my chores. So yeah, that reminds me of my past. And this book is so beautiful. I loved Ramona. I'm just laughing because she's so cute. It's adorable. This quote here, chapter 6 says, third graders were the biggest people except teachers, of course, at this school. All the little first and second graders running around the playground looking so young made Ramona feel tall, grown up, and sort of, well, wise in the ways of the world. The illustrations here are so gorgeous, and I just remember them so clearly from the book. So this is a coffee table book. I keep this in my living room on my coffee table. It is, I didn't say who it's by. It's by Anne Katz, essays by Annie Barrows and Jacqueline Rogers. Look at the back. So cute. Okay. Question number 2. A book that is set in a place you want to visit but have not. The first book that came to mind when I heard this question was Strange Weather in Tokyo. I don't own that book. I have read it. I have it on Kindle and audio. And I don't have anything to like hold up. So I pulled another book based in Japan. And this is Josee the Tiger and the Fish. And these are short stories by Seiko Tanabe. And I'm in the process of reading them. I haven't read them all, but this is a really sweet collection of short stories. The flap in here says, unable to get around without a wheelchair, a young woman named Josee leads a solitary housebound existence. Her key to the outside world is her friend Suneo, a recent college graduate, and her so-called quote-unquote caretaker. The titular story, Josee the Tiger and the Fish, depicts a precarious, at times sensual relationship that blossoms between these two young people still learning what it means to be happy. This anthology also includes 8 short tales centering on working women and their myriad loves and partings, sure to stir the heart and soul. Born in 1928 in Osaka, Japan, Seiko Tanabe was the author of many award-winning books, among them the novel Sentimental Journey, which received the prestigious Akutagawa Prize in 1964, and her biography of the poet Suifu Kishimoto, which won the 1998 Izumi Kyoka Prize for Literature and the 1999 Yomiuri Prize. Tanabe was designated a person of cultural merit by the Japanese government in 2000 and awarded the Order of Culture 8 years later. She died in Kobe, Japan in 2019 at the age of 91. So these stories are set in Japan, and I would love to visit Japan. So that's my book set in a place that I would like to visit someday, but I haven't yet. A book that is set in a foreign country that you admire. Okay, I don't own this one. Anne of Green Gables. I would love to visit Canada. I don't have it. I have Emily of New Moon on my nightstand, but I wrote Anne of Green Gables down. And why do I admire Canada? I admire Canada because Canadians are so friendly. They seem to be. They have that reputation, and I think that every encounter I've had with either Canadian people or Canadian author, I find it very like fun and friendly and accessible. So like easy to get along with. So yeah, I would say Canada for that, and Anne of Green Gables. Number 4, a book that is set in a city, province, or district that you live in. I have 2 for this one. So the first one that I thought of was this one, A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcie Little Badger. This was such a great book. And when I first read this book, I was reading it and I was like thinking, I know this place. Like, even though this is a fantasy, it is set in like South Texas. And I could recognize the way that the author describes the setting, like the rural setting. it just felt like, oh, I could see that being that county road. Um, it is such a great book about Darcie Little Badger. It says Darcie Little Badger is an earth scientist, writer, and fan of the weird, beautiful, and haunting. She is an enrolled member of the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas. Her first novel, Ilatsoi, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, was a national indie bestseller, named to over a dozen best of year lists, and called one of the best 100 fantasy novels of all time by Time. Um, A Snake Falls to Earth. It says, Nina is a Lipan girl in our world. She's always felt there was something more out there. She still believes in old stories. Ollie is a cottonmouth kid from the land of spirits and monsters. Like all cottonmouths, he's been cast from home. He's found a new one on the banks of the bottomless lake. Nina and Ollie have no idea the other exists. But a catastrophic event on Earth and a strange sickness that befalls Ollie's best friend will drive their worlds together in ways they haven't been in centuries, and some will kill to keep them apart. Darcie Little Badger introduced herself to the world with Elatsoi. In A Snake Falls to Earth, she draws on traditional Lipan storytelling structure to weave another unforgettable tale of monsters, magic, and family. It is not to be missed. So I'm not like 100% sure that this is in my area, but it feels very like much like home to me. So this one gave me that feeling. Um, but for sure, one that is set in my home area where I live is Valleyesque by Fernando A. Flores. Um, Fernando A. Flores was born in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, Mexico, and grew up in South Texas. He is the author of the collection Death to the Bullshit Artist of South Texas and the novel Tears of the Truffle Pig, which was longlisted for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize. This is a collection of short stories, and they're all set in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. And they are absurd, they are fantastical, they are speculative. If you like weird, this is like a collection of weird stories. I absolutely love it. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I think one that I keep coming back and like back to over and over and over again is the Ropa Usada one. I guess you just have to know. Like, I'm gonna leave it at that. If you know, you know. But yeah, this is a really fun, weird collection, and they're all set in my community. Okay, question number 5 is a book that is set in the future that you think is or will be realistic. And my answer to this question is Girlfriend on Mars by Deborah Willis. Deborah Willis is a Canadian author, and Girlfriend on Mars is about a couple in which the girlfriend decides that she wants to be on this reality show that is like a survivor slash amazing race kind of a competition. And if she wins, she's going to get sent to Mars to be like among the first colonizers or be the first to colonize Mars. And the reason why I picked this book is because I live in South Texas, and I'm going to try to put up an image of a mural that I saw in the city of Brownsville. I visited Brownsville yesterday. It's about an hour and a half from where I live, and in this area, there's very much this conflict between like what is happening here on the ground with space exploration, attempts being made that like from here we have we have SpaceX here in the Rio Grande Valley, and Deborah Willis kind of delves into that topic of billionaires wanting to colonize Mars, and this like all this money that is put into this colonization effort on Mars. And I see that here. I also see the environmentalist and indigenous communities coming together to protest the way the land and its resources are being used here to make these projects happen. And Deborah Willis's novel, Girlfriend on Mars, felt very near future to me, based on the conversations that are happening around me on just day to day in regards to space exploration, in regards to land and resources and lives, how we live, how we want to live, who we are becoming. And I think that these are all questions like, who am I? What are my values? What do I want to become? And like, what am I actually becoming? Who am I actually becoming? Like, those are questions that the main characters in this novel get to explore. And although this novel is on one level very funny and satirical, it's also very deep and complicated. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil it. If you've read it, let me know what you thought. But that novel felt very near future and potentially very realistic. So who am I tagging? I think I'm really behind on this tag. This tag was created a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, I think. And I don't know who's been tagged, but the last two people that have commented on my community posts, that was the last thing I posted. I'm going to tag them too. So Sean Holt from the channel at Sean Holt, and Farah at Bookstalgic. I have a feeling Farah's already been tagged. I didn't see the tag in her channel yet, but she may have already been tagged. And then the last video that I watched was Catherine at Raspberry Reads. So I'm tagging Sean Holt at Sean Holt, Farah at Bookstalgic, and Catherine at Raspberry Reads to do this tag. Thank you so much for watching. Hasta la próxima.